Here's another EG Media Group production.
Create, connect, convert.
This is the Small Business Monthly Expo podcast.
The best source for business owners, from entrepreneurs to corporations.
We're here to help your business grow throughout the Midwest and the nation.
Now, here's your host, Jim Wright.
Hello. Welcome to the St. Louis Small Business Monthly Expo podcast, St. Louis's best resource for small business information and expertise. And it's a big business conference and trade show and networking event, and I think networking is what most people get out of this. Join me and expert business leaders at this incredible growth conference. We'll catch up here in just a second.
When the podcast returns, Jim will be speaking with Terry Lammers from Innovative Business Advisors, right after this.
As a CEO, spreadsheets come with the territory, but I can't escape asking myself these questions. In what areas should I devote more focus and develop more understanding so I can properly interpret my company's real financial health? How do I take that data and use it to create and implement a plan to increase profits and discover the company's true financial potential?
Enter CEO to CEO. We believe these are the types of questions a good CEO or business owner should be asking. We've helped hundreds of CEOs and leaders understand the true cash flow, bankability, and actionable real-time management opportunities in their respective companies. We have a knack for making the complicated easy, and to many, fun to understand. We have virtual sessions online, and we also offer one-to-one CEO coaching. CEO to CEO exists to help businesses and business leaders realize their full potential. Reach out today at ceo2ceo.coach. CEO, the number 2, CEO.coach. That's ceo2ceo.coach.
Are you ready, St. Louis? What if you could build the business and career you've always dreamed of? Join us at the St. Charles Convention Center for the St. Louis Business Expo and Growth Conference. This one-day event is designed to help you unlock and unleash your breakthroughs and take your business to the next level. This has become the largest business-to-business expo in the state of Missouri. Don't miss out. We'll also have some of the best companies in St. Louis on hand to showcase their services and provide you with help and assistance as well. The best part is it's all free. If you'd like more information or to register, visit stlexpo.com or call us at 314-569-0076. Don't miss it. That's stlexpo.com. One day, a lifetime of change. I'll see you at the St. Louis Business Expo and Growth Conference.
Join us at the St. Charles Convention Center for the next Small Business Monthly Expo, May 10th, 2023.
Hey, we're back. I have with us today Terry Lammers. Terry, welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Terry, can you tell me, I understand you're with a group called CEO to CEO.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Chief Everything Officer to Chief Executive Officer.
I see. How did you pick that name?
It was actually my partner's idea, and I love it because it's a class, and it's all about teaching business owners about the cash flow in their business.
Oh, that's pretty important to know what your cash flow is.
It is. You'd be amazed how even business owners of larger companies don't understand EBITDA and their bankability, a debt service coverage ratio.
Sure.
How bankable are you to the bank, and financial ratios. So it's designed as a one-year class, and we do it individually with customers or in a group setting, and we really break down their financial statements, and by the time they get done with this class, they will have a very clear understanding of their financial statements, the difference between the income statement and the balance sheet. We create a debt schedule for them, which is all of your debt and the payments, which a banker will love you for doing because it makes it easier, so much easier for them.
Sure.
When you go to borrow money. And we will show them what a debt service coverage ratio is and what really makes it a bankable company, and some key financial ratios that help them. It's kind of like a dashboard, for the business. So it's a great class.
Yeah, I've got a lot of banker friends, and they always are talking about they have to talk with a finance officer at a company because the CEO of that company doesn't really understand what he's asking for.
So, the thing that I really get out of this, and it comes from a lot of, Steve has a ton of experience, my partner, but and a lot of it my experience from buying 11 different companies and stuff. And, what we really do is give you the confidence that when you go talk to a banker, you're going to know before you step in the door if you're a bankable person.
Good.
And that's just the key to it. I mean, you should know before you go to the bank, before you make an offer on the acquisition or something like that, is it something that you can afford? And we go through every step of the way through, a monthly class over a year that'll get you there all the way.
So at the beginning of the class, you're talking gibberish to these people. At the end, they understand exactly what you're saying.
And we have them bring in their own financial statements, and we break it down. It's like, look, this doesn't make sense, and this is what you need to lay out. And we help them. I think the one thing that I really like, well, I like all of it, but we break the financial statement down into a monthly income trend. Normal financial statements, you get, what did I do this month? What did I do last year this month? Where am I at year-to-date this month, and where was I at year-to-date last month? Well, I don't like that because you don't see a trend. So we help them, and we give them the template to do it, break down not only the income statement but the balance sheet into a monthly 12-month rolling trend, and you can really see the ebbs and flows of the business. And then we build that, ratio analysis page, and we teach them key ratios like your current ratio and accounts receivable days, accounts payable days. So just a quick story, Jim, if you don't mind. When I owned my oil company, I really paid attention to accounts receivable, accounts payable, and inventory days, because here's the deal. I was selling $250,000 worth of stuff a day. So if my accounts receivable days went up by 2 and my accounts payable days, so you're not receiving your money as fast.
Right.
And my accounts payable days went down by 2, which means you're paying your bills too fast. Just using the $250,000 a day, that's $1 million swing in cash flow, and it doesn't have anything to do with the profitability of the company. Same way with your inventory days. My fuel inventory should turn in 3 days, and my lubricants inventory in 30 days. Well, if all of a sudden I'm looking at that dashboard and I have 7 days of fuel inventory around, it's like, hey, that's a red flag. My purchasing guy is buying way too much fuel, but there may be a reason for it, such as going into harvest or spring planting season or something like that. So it's explainable.
Do you have success stories?
Yeah.
What are your clients saying about your service?
I think the most common comment that we get is, I wish I would have talked to you 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So another kind of hidden thing with the CEO to CEO program is we're really teaching people about how to make their company a sellable business.
Sure.
Because, at the end of the day, we're all going to exit sooner or later, or as the old term goes, you're either going to plan your exit or you're going to go out boots up.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things, financial and non-financial, that there is to talk about in making your company a sellable company. And, we touch on the non-financial things that make your company sellable, but your financial statements are the face of your business. And in, what we do on the other side of our business with innovative advisors on mergers and acquisitions, it is so frustrating when you have a company come to you and their financial statements are just a mess. It really hinders how you're going to sell that company.
Sure, they should have taken your course first and
Yes,
then come to you with the other.
Hence, we get I wish I would have talked to you several years ago.
Yeah. So in these days, at times, is there much leaving the business to the family, or are they just mostly selling their business? And if they're selling the business, how are those sales going? Do they often find a buyer, or is it one of those things where it's tough to find a buyer?
It's a very good question, and my mind's twirling.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So here's the thing. So, yes, there is a lot of selling the business to a family member. And the problem I see with that quite often is, most often it's a dad going to a son or a daughter. Mm-hmm. They don't set the son or daughter up for the sale of the company. Meaning they don't have no money for it. And here's a really key thing that your listeners should pay attention to, and it's when you buy a company, you need to think that you're really writing 2 checks. you're writing one check for the cost of the company, and you're writing another check for the overhead of the company, which is the accounts receivable and just the cash that it takes to run the day-to-day business. And that's where a lot of people misstep because, they have a $500,000 accounts receivable, and the sibling just can't afford that.
Yeah.
And then on top of purchasing the business, they're going to borrow the money in a line of credit or something to fund the accounts receivable.
Yeah.
And then what really gets tricky after that is if the parent needs the sale of the business to fund their retirement,
sure.
There's a big risk there.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of people want to do, like, I call it contract for deed, but you can call it a bond for deed, but basically the parent's financing the business. What gets risky about that is if the parent is financing the business and they're needing that income for their retirement, if the child fails, you just messed up
their retirement. Oh, my.
Which is really sad.
So do you teach exit strategy on that in your course?
In the CEO to CEO program, we talk about that because I always say there's several ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
So are you going to exit contract for deed? Another interesting thing to talk about is in the sale of your business, is it going to be a financial buyer or a strategic buyer? So if the sibling's buying it, it's probably a financial buyer, meaning it has to be a bankable deal or they have to be able to afford to buy it.
Sure.
In a strategic acquisition, which I've done a lot of, and me and my accountant always butted heads because he's like, you pay for a company for the cash flow that it's producing. But when there's a strategic reason for you to buy that company, it may be because you're gaining geographical territory. You're gaining products and services that you don't currently offer your customers. And you can get much higher multiples and a much higher price for people that understand multiples.
Sure.
You get a much higher price for the company. So
you've got a lot to teach people.
I enjoy doing it. I really do. I'm giving 2 presentations today. I'm really excited about it. I could ramble on forever.
Sure. Well, can you tell us a little bit about how people can get a hold of you to talk to you about CEO to CEO?
The best way is to look up our website, www.innovativeba.com. So it's INNOVATIVE and then BA, boyapple.com. And all of our contact information is on there. If you click on the media tab, you can see several videos and podcasts and articles that have all been written by us, and there's a vast amount of information there.
Sure.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the book series that we have, You Don't Know What You Don't Know. So my book is You Don't Know What You Don't Know, Everything You Need to Know to Buy or Sell a Business. In 2019, it was listed by Forbes magazine as a top 10 business book.
Oh, congratulations.
Steve's book. So we trademarked the You Don't Know What You Don't Know name, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And Steve's book has a different byline, but it's basically a story about one person that sold their company using a broker and one person that didn't, and the contrasting differences of how the whole process went. But there's 4 books in the series right now, and Steve and I are writing a 5th book, so very exciting.
How do you find all the time to do all this?
Good question.
You're a business owner, right?
I'm an empty nester, so my kids are all gone, so typically Sunday's my writing day.
Oh, that's great.
I seal myself in my man cave and get it done.
Yeah, you said your partner's name was Steve. Do you want to mention his whole name?
Yes, Steve Denny. He's a phenomenal person, tons of experience. He's a great guy.
Sure. Now, you all double team your classes, or do you teach a class while he teaches another one?
Steve's pretty much taken up that role with the CEO to CEO thing. Mm-hmm. I definitely contribute to the material and stuff like that, but right now Steve pretty much runs that class.
And yet you have 2 presentations today. That's amazing.
He's out of town today, so I'm filling some big shoes today.
Oh, that's terrific. Anything else you want to tell us about your business?
So CEO to CEO, Chief Everything Officer to Chief Executive Officer, is a subset of our business, which is Innovative Business Advisors, and we help people buy and sell companies. I'm a CVA, a Certified Valuation Analyst, so we do a lot of business valuations, which is very important and a whole nother subject. And then the third piece of the pie with Innovative is our CEO to CEO program.
Sure. Now, you're speaking from experience, though. You're not just speaking from things you read about. You've actually bought and sold businesses.
I had the
acquisitions.
I took over my family's business in 1991 and grew it from $750,000 in sales to over $42 million in sales.
Wow.
And bought 11 different companies and sold it in 2010. I don't know. I'm just a serial entrepreneur, so I just keep going.
There you go. Terry Lammers, I want to thank you again for being with us today. Can you tell us how we get a hold of you again?
The website's the best way, www.innovativeba.com. My cell phone number is 618-530-8922.
Well, we better let you go so you can start answering those calls. Terry, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it very much.
All right. Coming up in just a moment is Ron Amlin, the president of the St. Louis Small Business Monthly, and we're going to find out why it's important to attend this expo.
Now a word from our sponsor.
You've made the monumental decision to sell your business. Maybe the sale is your retirement nest egg, or perhaps you're not ready to sell, but you need to raise more capital so you can scale. You now have the task of placing a non-emotional market value on the business you've built, the business to which you've likely devoted a good part of your life. How do you navigate which accepted valuation methodologies or combination of formulas to use? Your CPA may suggest one conventional approach, your banker, another. The truth is, there's nothing conventional about the valuation process. Every business and situation is unique. You deserve an experienced partner who has your best interest in mind, a trusted resource to not only work with you to determine a valuation, but prepare you for the valuation process and all that it entails. That partner is Innovative Business Advisors. Learn more at innovativeba.com. We'd love to have a conversation with you about your business. That's innovativeba.com.
Ready to explore St. Louis in a unique, hassle-free way? How about on an innovative three-wheeled electric trike with Trike STL guided tours, a self-balancing and battery-assisted machine that's also low impact on your body and fun. Visit TrikeSTL.com or call 314-4TRIKKE.
You want to be an exhibitor at our next Business Expo and Business Growth Conference.
Not only is this the largest business-to-business expo in the Midwest, business owners and key employees can gain months' worth of clients and contacts in just a few hours.
With over 20 seminars and keynote speakers.
This is a can't-miss event for hundreds of business owners.
Types of industries that exhibit:
accounting,
human resources,
e-commerce,
breakroom supplies,
apps,
computer equipment,
just to name a few.
If you'd like more information on how you can be an exhibitor at the next Business Expo and Business Growth Conference,
go to stlouisbusinessexpo.com.
One day,
a lifetime of change.
Ron, I want to talk about reasons people come to the expo.
Sure. The top 3 reasons to attend is number 1, this is where people who are interested in business are going to be. One day, under one roof, at one time. So if you want to match those people, that's where you want to be. Number 2, we're going to have a huge stage with some of the most accomplished business experts talking about business strategies and tips. So if you want to take your business to the next level, this is a way to advance your planning and your skills and your aptitude for building a better business. And number 3 is you want to increase your leads and your sales. And there's no better place to do it than on one day and under one roof when you have thousands of people here who are all interested in business and what you're up to.
I know that your magazine and the expo actually go hand in hand. I'd like you to tell our listeners why you feel that one builds well off the other and why you do the things the way you do them.
Yeah. The event, the expo, is a lot like our magazine. You know, in our magazine we have all these helpful articles and how-tos, and here we have 17 different seminars where people are sharing their knowledge and their how-tos, and then you're also in a magazine. We have all the advertisers who have products and services that are going to help you grow your business. Sure. And out at this exhibit hall, everybody out here has a product or service that's going to help you grow your business, whether it's an IT company, an accounting firm, a bank. There's someone out here who's going to help you take the next step in your business, and you just have to match those folks together and build those relationships. And we do that on the newspaper side, the magazine side, and we do it here on the event side. And when you can do that, when you can match those two together, then that's when you'll have a lot of success and you'll build those businesses.
We could check out your website at
stlexpo.com.
Okay, great. Well, Ron, you and your staff are sure great examples of helping small business. I want to thank you for what you do for not just the business community, but the whole area. And thank you so much for having us here today and for being here yourself.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you for listening to the podcast today, and you can follow us more on SBMON.com. Remember, the Small Business Monthly is the source for business owners.
Here's another EG Media Group production.
Create, connect, convert.